time special episode, special Epstein episode of the apocalypse. I'd love to talk about something else, but it seems the Epstein stuff is taking up all the space. Unfortunately, so we must stick to it. Don't worry, I'll talk about other things as well. But today's focus primarily will be on the Epstein stuff. And I must say, holy fucking shite. Let us begin. Rupert Murdoch every once in a while kind of does this to Donnie. I don't know why. Maybe he gets mad at him. Or maybe they want to get rid of Donnie. Maybe Donnie's not good for business. Too many grifts going on, costing too many rich people a lot of money. That could have something to do with it. It appears that Mr. Murdoch wants Donnie to go down for some reason. I assume it's the tariffs and the fucking with business. And I assume Mr. Murdoch's losing money like a lot of very rich people are, Leon and others. So you're going to have some people coming for Donnie. And everyone sees a moment to kind of seize upon, including Ghislaine Maxwell. She's trying to make deals. She's trying to make moves. She's trying to get out of prison. This information came from a book that Miss Maxwell put together because Jeff ain't here no more. So there's only really one source this stuff could have came from, and that's Ghislaine. So Ghislaine's making her moves. And Donnie's suffering the consequences. I suggest he let Ghislaine out of jail, because I imagine she has quite a bit more on Donnie, including, firsthand witnessing. But then again, if she dares talk about that kind of stuff, maybe something happens to her like Jeffy. That's the dangerous part of this. So we've got Murdoch making moves. We've got JD and Leon making moves. We have Ghislaine, most important of all, making moves. So what was the move yesterday? Yeah, I fall asleep at 5 p.m. yesterday. Because I'm just so fucking tired, people. Doing too many things. And I'm going through a big transition. It's not easy. It's hard. So I fall asleep. I wake up around 1 a.m. and I see all this Epstein shit. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. So I compiled it all. I compiled a little bit more today. I wanted to see what Donnie's reaction today would be. He's pretty much in hiding. Put out a few tweets so far. Maybe I missed something in the last hour. God fucking knows. So this is what it started off with. Wall Street Journal, Murdoch paper. And Donnie did an interview with them, so he knew this was coming out. He knew this was coming. And he told them not to print it. Jeffrey Epstein's friends sent him bawdy letters for a 50th birthday album. One was from Donald Trump. Now, this is no surprise to most of us. We know Donnie's all up in this shit. But some people are actually surprised by this. They thought they were the good guys. They thought they were voting for the good guys, even though there's plenty of evidence to show that Donnie isn't a good guy and neither are his people, that I and others have been yelling about for 10 fucking years. So this is a surprise to some people because they're stuck in a bubble of I'm the good guy, I'm the Jesus person, I'm the one that cares about the little children's, when none of that was ever true about them. So the Wall Street Journal printed an excerpt from a letter that Donnie wrote kind of to himself. I believe it's like an imaginary conversation that Donnie wrote himself, but sent it to Jeff. The leather-bound book was compiled by Ghislaine Maxwell. The president says the letter is a fake thing. They put that on the headline. Right under it. So the Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch, Donnie's fucking furious. He knew this was coming. He was dreading that it was coming. Donnie can't really sue because if we start digging into Epstein in a court, Donnie's probably going to go to prison the rest of his fucking life. And he knows that. So I don't see how Donnie's going to sue here. I'm sure he'll make a lot of threats. And behind the scenes, he's making a lot of other types of threats. But I don't see how he sues over this. I really don't. Let's look at some of the letter. It isn't clear how the letter with Trump's signature was prepared. Inside the outline of a naked woman was a typewritten note styled as an imaginary conversation between Trump and Epstein, written in the third person. That's the other wonderful detail about the letter. He put a naked woman's body as a kind of an outline and signed his signature in the pubic area. So, he's a real well-adjusted individual, So here goes some of it. Voiceover, there must be more to life than having everything, the note began. Donald, yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Jeffrey, nor will I, since I also know what it is. God, this is so romantic. Donald, we have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, yes, we do, come to think of it. Donald, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. Trump, a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. I don't know who thinks like this, who lives like this. This is completely fucking foreign to me. This is so far away from fucking normal. We all know exactly what Donnie's talking about when he says enigmas never age. We know exactly what Donnie's talking about when he says, may every day be another wonderful secret. And boy, does Donnie really need to keep this stuff secret. I don't know how anyone could say it was a secret. We saw the footage of him and Epstein back in, 2016, something like that. Yet people needed to delude themselves and say, oh, he broke up with Jeffy at a certain point when he realized he was a sex trafficker. No, does this sound like he broke up with Jeffy? And no, this isn't fake, son. That's why Donnie's flipping the fuck out about it. And everyone knows it. But here's the real thing. You people knew what he was and what he did. You didn't care. You put your name on it anyway. This is absolutely no surprise. I'm sure there's much worse out there. The FBI sees like over 1,000 pictures and other stuff from Epstein's residence, and we can all imagine what's on those pictures, etc. And I don't need to see the pictures. I would like to know the names, though. That'd be nice. Unfortunately, it's Donnie and Bondi's mission in life to never let you fucking see it. That should tell you all you need to know. And then there's this. On top of the footage, on top of the 87 pictures of Donnie with Epstein. So again, most of us, this is no surprise, and we all know there's a lot worse out there. And again, there was a case against Donnie by a woman who claimed she was 13 years old when Epstein and Donnie raped her. Court documents everything. Allegedly, she got scared and withdrew the lawsuit due to threats. No way to really know why she withdrew. But those documents have been going around again since about 2016, I believe. Everybody saw these. And you still put your name on it, a lot of you. So the person that posted this excerpt of the letter, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? They're quoting that from Donnie's sick mind. Enigmas is an anagram of gaminus, which means young girls. I've never seen that word, G-A-M-I-N-E-S, before. I never knew it meant young girls. Again, I'm not saying this the person that wrote the post is. But I don't really need the translation. I don't need the code breaking. It's obvious what they're writing about. Especially when you remember the Donnie quote from, I believe it was the Howard Stern show, about him and Jeffy are good friends. And they both like, the young girls. He said it in different words than that. I'm paraphrasing. But that's what he said. Now we have a letter years later. Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? And an imaginary conversation by a sociopath with his best buddy who's a sex trafficker. And may every day be another wonderful secret. Why does it have to be secret, Donnie? World, Rubes. We know exactly what the fuck he's talking about here. Young girls for Enigma. The secret is what him and Jeffy do all day. I'm talking to you, family values people, Jesus people, patriots, etc. I'm talking to you. But you knew what Donnie was, let's be honest here. This is George Conway pulled a quote out of the story. Trump wrote on Truth Social shortly after the story went live on Thursday that he warned the Journal and Rupert Murdoch personally about running the story, that he will be suing the Wall Street Journal, News Corp, and Mr. Murdoch. The president called the story false, malicious, and defamatory and described the Journal as a disgusting and filthy rag. Funny how Donnie always says that about a paper or a publication or a news channel after they say something negative about him. Interesting. Hitler hated the press too. Oh, Colbert getting fired. There's a great example. You think that just happened for nothing? Colbert, basically the top-rated fucking night show that there is. They got rid of him. That's the power of the Reich, son. That's how scared people are of the Reich. That's why ABC dropped millions right in Donnie's lap via a settlement. President Trump reportedly called the Wall Street Journal's editor-in-chief to kill a bombshell story about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Well, I bet he did. He didn't just call. He's putting posts up, talking shit publicly, all kinds of stuff. It's wonderful. And again, people, I don't want you to get your hopes up and think this is the end of Donnie, because it's not. These people have seen every abomination by this man and are still sticking by him. There's a lot of people that are going to talk shit. It's going to be ugly for a while. But this is the problem with where Donnie's at right now. We've got a sociopath with a God complex who has the maturity of a 4-year-old. I'm not exaggerating in the slightest. He knows he's done some very bad things in life. And if those things come out completely, he will be crucified. So what is he right now? Listen to what I'm saying. He's a cornered fucking rat, sociopath with a God complex in charge of our country, and in his mind, he runs the world. So where's this going? Colbert being fired, that's where it's going. Lashing out, making demands. He's going to come down harder with an even heavier hand, authoritatively. He's going to get more out of control. He's going to get more dangerous. He's going to try and move the focus by doing big things. Distractions, if you will, to get this story out the fucking front page. So again, he's a cornered rat, sociopath with a God complex, the maturity of a 4-year-old. So he's going to lash out big time. It's going to get uglier and uglier as we're all laughing here. Be prepared for that. This is not the end of Donnie. I'm sorry. I wish I could say it was. I truly do. He ain't going nowhere, as bad as this is. Let's continue. J.D. Vance jumps in. They never showed us the letter. Trump, we told them the letter is fake. So we've got, again, multiple stories from the Reich again on things. So here's J.D., one of his posts. the couch fucker. Forgive my language, but this story is complete and utter bullshit. The Wall Street Journal should be ashamed for publishing it. Where's the letter? Would you be shocked to learn they never showed it to us before publishing it? Does anyone honestly believe this sounds like Donald Trump? Here's Donnie. A partial quote from yesterday. I have the rest later. The Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch personally were warned directly by President Donald J. Trump. This is Donnie who wrote this on his own True Social, talking in third person, whatever he's doing here. That the supposed letter they printed by President Trump to Epstein was a fake. That's in all caps. And if they print it, they will be sued. Mr. Murdoch stated that he would take care of it, but obviously did not have the power to do so. Yeah, right. The editor of the Wall Street Journal, Emma Tucker, was told directly by Carolyn Levitt and by President Trump that the letter was a fake, but Emma Tucker didn't want to hear that. Instead, they are going with a false, malicious, and defamatory story anyway. President Trump will be suing the Wall Street Journal, News Corp, and Mr. Murdoch shortly. The press has to learn to be truthful. And again, I'll read you the rest in a moment. So Donnie's saying it was a fake. JD says the letter doesn't exist. Multiple stories. Here's Donnie in the middle of the day, in the middle of all this happening. Donnie's trying to make a move here to satisfy the people. He could have made this move in 2019 after Jeffy died. Donnie was president until January of 2021, I believe. Why didn't he release the stuff after Jeffy died? Why are we going directly to Biden and pointing at him? Why didn't Biden release it? Well, Donnie had it first. God knows what was left by the time it got to Biden when he came around. And the Democrats didn't campaign on, we're going to release the Epstein files. Your people did. But you should have asked when Donnie was campaigning on that, why didn't you release them in 2019 after Jeff died? You can't really have a trial after that. Why not just release everything? Oh, because Donnie's name was all fucking over it. Then they, made the stupid promise that they're going to release the files before the election, after the election. Then Bondi realizes, I can't release any of it. We better make up a story. Why do you think Bondi wrote that letter to Patel back in the beginning when he had possession of the files or the information, whatever you want to call it? Bondi wanted to make sure none of that slipped out via Patel's incompetence. She wanted that information in her possession to make sure none of that slipped out. I read you the letter days ago on one of these broadcasts. From Bondi to Patel. Give me all the Epstein stuff right fucking now. I told you to. Where's it at? Give it to me. We all know why that took place. So Donnie makes this desperate move, this half-court shot, hoping it goes in. Based on the ridiculous amount of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein, I have asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. This scam perpetuated by the Democrats should end right now. First of all, the Democrats got nothing to do with this. You people made a promise, you MAGA people in government, to the rubes out there, you were going to release it. They got a little testy. They said, where's it at? The response from Bondi and Donnie and everybody, oh, it doesn't exist. What are you talking about? Oh, you mean after Bondi said it's on my desk for weeks? And 1,000 FBI agents are being hired or moved to parse through the files, the information, so we can release what we can. Now the story has changed. Well, it went from that to they don't exist. Fuck you. No more's coming out. Now we're at the point where, okay, well, now we got to go through the courts and we got to wait for the courts. And when they say it's okay, we'll release certain things. My God, again, people, do you ever get tired of being lied to? They've changed the story 17 times. That is the mark of a liar, when the story changes over and over and over. There's only one reason to lie. Donnie's involved. We all knew this already. But he proved it even more by writing his theses about Jeff Epstein. Stop talking about him. So again, now in the middle of this letter coming out, Donnie's going to sue the Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch, and oh my God, look at what the letter says. Oh, now all of a sudden we're going to release it, but it's going to take a little while. We're going to go through the courts. Again, the story after the election was "This shit's on my desk" by Miss Bondi. I remember the headlines: 1,000 FBI agents parsing through the information. Then they told you to fuck off. We're not releasing nothing. Roops. Now a letter comes out in the Wall Street Journal. All of a sudden, Donnie's going to weave it through the courts. And maybe eventually, someday, we'll get something. You voted for Jeff Epstein's best friend and one of his best customers. After you preached Pizzagate and pointed at liberals for 20 fucking years. You were on the wrong side of it then. You're on the wrong side of it now. You need to get your name the fuck off of it. And again, it does me no good if you do. Because our country's already over. Our planet's already over. Thanks to you. But you can save one thing. Your soul. By taking your name off this. The letter to Epstein, bearing Trump's name as body, it contains several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with a heavy marker. Sharpie. Donnie loves Sharpie and markers. And if the letter is framed by a naked woman, gee, I wonder what Donnie's talking about, Roops. Right? Right? How many letters do you frame with a naked woman? Unless you're talking about naked women, son. Donnie giving the game away as a 4-year-old child. I told you. You couldn't just write the letter. You had to, give the game away. Even though we all know what enigma means and secret means. Right, Pizzagate people? How many of you made a living off that shit? You fucking lying cunts. How many are still making a living off of it? Are you touching this, though? Vlad, WikiLeaks, right-wing podcast world. A pair of small arcs denotes the woman's breasts, and the future president's signature is a squiggly Donald below her waist, mimicking the pubic area. The letter concludes, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." Again, I gotta ask, I don't know, why is it gotta be secret? What's up with that? I think we all know. Here's an excerpt from the actual article. Or excuse me, an excerpt from some article. Looks like the Wall Street Journal. On Thursday evening, the Wall Street Journal published a bombshell report on letters allegedly gifted to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday and compiled in a 2003 album by Ghislaine Maxwell, also convicted sex offender. According to the newspaper, among the dozens of letters from Epstein's associates was a note bearing Donald Trump's name, outlined by a drawing of a naked woman that also enclosed the text, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey." Yes, we know, Donnie, we know. The president denied that he wrote the letter or drew the picture in an interview with the Journal on Tuesday, threatening to sue the newspaper if it published the story. So Donnie's been in the know about this since at least Tuesday. I'm thinking longer. That's just when the interview took place. I have a feeling Donnie has known about this letter for a while. That's why he's been freaking out about the Epstein thing for a while. "I never wrote a picture in my life. I don't draw pictures of women," he said, according to the Journal. "It's not my language, it's not my words." Despite the president's insistence that he's never doodled during his 79 years on Earth, there is plenty of evidence to the contrary. Take, for example, this mediocre sketch of the Manhattan skyline drawn by Trump that raked in $30,000 at an auction, featuring the Trump Tower at the center. The picture was created by the now president 2 decades ago for a charity event. Yes, people, scoured the internet and they found pictures drawn by Donald Trump for various auctions and things. So Donnie, He was using that as his evidence that that letter can't be from him. He didn't write it because he doesn't draw pictures. That's what Donnie said. Well, we got some pictures that he drew. So even that's a lie, son. This is one of them. Just a shitty, half-assed skyscraper. Not the worst artist. That's if he really drew that. Got pretty good straight lines. And that sold for $16,000. I don't see a date here. But that sold for 16. There were 7 bids. Probably paid for it himself to make himself look like a big-time artist or something. Here's Gavin Newsom pointing out another sketch right here. Fucking glare. Just the skyline, different buildings, New York City, I assume. A sketch Donald Trump made of the Manhattan skyline is up for auction. This is 6 years ago. It looks like. Got Donnie's signature there at the bottom. This is a good point by Adam Kinzinger. And remember who Adam Kinzinger is. He was a Republican congressman or senator. I can't remember. And he turned on Donnie over the J6 stuff, and so did Liz Cheney. They're about the only 2 Republicans that really went the other way. Now, again, do I look at them as heroes for that? No. I look at them as they have some moral line, which is worth something in society. So they both put their heads on the chopping block, and boy, does Donnie want to arrest those 2. I expect them to be arrested at some point, actually. Did they do anything wrong? No. Are they a convicted felon like Donnie? No. Are they buddies with Epstein like Donnie? No. So they did nothing wrong except, involve themselves in a January 6th Commission investigation. And we all watched it on TV. We know what happened. So they are big-time targets, and Adam left government, and now he's just basically putting out messages, letting you know what's up with the Reich. This is an excellent one, and this is for the rubes that claim they're Christians, that have their name on this. Dear fellow Christ followers, tonight God gave you one more data point on Trump. He is clearly immoral and evil. I get it, you hate the left, but your leader seems to like things no man should. This is your chance to leave. This is the last chance, too. Might not be the very last chance. There's still some more time. Not much. I'm talking years, not 10 years. I'm thinking under 10, 3.5, 4, something like that. For 10 years, people like me have been yelling on camera, in print, whatever, on TV. You keep seeing these abominations that he does. Yet you continue to put your name on it. No matter how evil it is. You should have turned away a long fucking time ago from this MAGA thing. But you still have a little time left. Like he said, God gave you one more data point. What do you think this all was? It was a test. Many of you failed miserably so far. God keeps giving you more, showing you over and over again the level of evil we are dealing with. There is no way you can call yourself a Christian or a follower of Christ and be down with this bullshit. You just can't. It's an utter contradiction. So in this little bit of time we all have left here, God's giving you one more data point, like Adam said. I suggest you take it seriously and you use it as a conduit to leave the fucking movement and not have your name on evil anymore. Just a suggestion. And Leon jumps in, of course. This was at 6:03 p.m. yesterday. Wow, I can't believe Epstein killed himself before realizing it was all a hoax. Again, Leon's no good guy. He helped build this Reich. He financed Donnie's campaign. He made all this happen, baby. And Leon's been over Epstein's house, too. Verified. Of course, he says it was for other reasons, but you know. So he's no good guy here, but he is trying to take Donnie down. He's making he's moving a chess piece again. Leon's boy is JD. That's who he's looking for. That's Fail's boy as well. Leon's looking to be the main guy eventually. Maybe that'll happen. Who knows? I had a thought a while back. What if Donnie dies? Maybe that's why they want to create an image and keep it going, even though he's not alive anymore. I don't know. I don't think it's going to run that way, but it's just something I've been pondering and thinking about. So yeah, Leon taking another shot. I'm surprised Donnie hasn't deported him and taken all his welfare away. I guess Leon knows something that if Donnie were to make an even bigger move against Leon, that Leon might blab. Trump's Epstein connections are so bad they released stuff on Trump's health for the first time. I noticed that too when they released that info the other day about his vein condition or whatever, arterial condition, whatever it is, because his legs are all swollen up. People noticed, but all we've ever gotten since day one with Donnie via his doctors, etc., he's perfect health, great weight for his age, he's going to live to be 1,000,005. All lies. How do I know that? Because Donnie had some thugs steal his medical records all the way, I believe, in 2015 or 16. So none of that information could ever come out. Verified. Everyone knows this. You don't steal your records unless there's a condition you don't want people to know about. My guess is syphilitic dementia, but I'm just guessing. And I'm serious when I say that. So his records were stolen, and it took until this Epstein shit is on fire in 2025 for them to actually release some real health information on this guy. Why do you think they did that now, when they've never done it before? And we know Donnie has a condition. Otherwise, he wouldn't have stolen his records. They did it now because the Epstein shit is on fire, and they want you thinking of something else, and they want that sympathy. But when Biden got his cancer diagnosis, Donnie said in the Oval Office not to have sympathy for him. It's okay, right, Rubes? Because he's a liberal, right? So they've never been honest about Donnie's health. All of a sudden, in the middle of the Epstein shit, they release, oh, Donnie's got whatever coronary blah, blah, blah. An attempt at distraction and sympathy, that's all that is, because they've never done it before, and we know he has a condition that he doesn't want us to know about. On top of the one he just let us know about. Epstein wasn't working for Israel, he was working for Russia. This is a random poster. He's quoting Ron Wyden of the Senate. Big news for my investigators on Epstein's sex trafficking operation. The Trump administration has an Epstein file detailing 4,725 wire transfers and almost 1.1 billion flowing through just one of his banks, hundreds of millions more through others. The Trump administration claims it doesn't have enough evidence to investigate. If you ask me, that's 4,725 lines of investigation right there, and that should only be the start of it. Epstein had to pay for all his sex trafficking somehow. Further evidence shows he used Russian banks to process hundreds of millions in payments. Again, this is info in the possession of the Trump administration, but they're refusing to investigate. This makes total sense to me. It makes sense that Epstein would be working for the Russians or with the Russians. You have a lot of illegal income coming in. You need that laundered. You need to figure out how to explain that during an IRS audit, etc. So The Russian banks, or the banks that Russia uses, are well-known money laundering operations. It's not a secret. So it makes a lot of sense. And sex trafficking, man, that's a Russian thing like a motherfucker as well. I mean, Vlad and his mob people, that they're all about it. They can't grow drugs in Russia. It's fucking freezing. The only thing they can sell in Russia is women. That's it. That's what they got. That's why a lot of young women in Russia get herded towards that line of work, because there ain't much else a woman can do, honestly, in that economy. So it makes perfect sense to me that Epstein would use banks tied to the Russians, deal with Russian sex traffickers, Vlad's people. I mean, Epstein was like probably the biggest American sex trafficker. Makes perfect sense. I never really bought that Epstein was working for Israel ever. People love to make that connection. Everyone's fucking Mossad. Everyone's fucking attached to Israel somehow. Usually that's not true. Was Epstein attached to the Russians? Fuck yeah. Here's Darth Putin again. If you don't know, you better ask somebody who Darth Putin is. Darth Putin knows all and sees all, and when I saw this, I saw further evidence that Darth Putin gets it. He often talks about history with Russia, the different moves Russian dictators have made over the years. Surely Wikileaks will release the Epstein files, right? Right, Alex? Right, Wikileaks? What point is Darth Putin making here? That WikiLeaks Assange was a Russian op. I've made that point years ago. I never felt right about WikiLeaks or Julian Assange. Why? Because Alex Jones and Cernovich preached that shit as if it was gospel. That told me there was a problem with it. The problem was it was a Russian op by Vlad, who would hack the stuff, and then the magician named Assange and WikiLeaks would put it in our face. Or they would just make up information and put that out there. I know Assange had this brilliant team of hackers, right, that just got this information. No, Russian hackers, that's all. It was an op by Russia to fuck with you. That's all it was, son. All it ever was. And I know they put a lot of information out about George Bush and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's because Vlad hacked the computers. You think they just got that shit magically? Did you notice the information after the Bush era was always aimed at liberals? I wonder why WikiLeaks and the whole apparatus isn't putting the Epstein info out. Just like Darth Putin says. Because that would make their orange bitch Donnie Krasnov look bad, and they ain't looking for that. What they were looking for, Assange and the WikiLeaks people and Vlad, were you dumbass rubes to preach that gospel of Pizzagate for 20 years via Assange and Vlad. And hand over your country to his asset named Donnie. Or another asset. I mean, Vlad was giving money to almost every Republican politician. So if one of the other ones won, well, Vlad got his hooks into that too. Most of them. A brilliant point by the all-seeing, all-knowing Darth Putin. This was yesterday before the Epstein shit broke. Skeletor up at the podium, and people, of course, are asking about the Epstein stuff. This is before the Wall Street Journal thing in the morning. The president doesn't like to see Democrats and the mainstream media covering Epstein like it's the biggest story the American people care about. The president has been working so hard this week. Donnie never works, first of all. He grifts, golfs, and lies. That's all Donnie does. So forget the hard work part. And it ain't the Democrats that made all this happen and keep bringing it up. And that paper that published the letter, that's not a liberal paper. That's the Wall Street Journal run by Murdoch. How do you explain that? And it's the rubes who needed that promise before the election. We're going to release the Epstein files. After the election, they promised it as well. It was, MAGA and the right wing that wanted this stuff. Because it was going to expose all the evil liberals, right? No, it just exposes Donnie. The guy you have your name on. Could there be some liberal names as clients? Of course. But I ain't seeing the pictures, man. I'm seeing 80 pictures of Donnie, though, with Epstein and footage. I don't see that with all the liberals. I think I found 2 verified, legit pictures of Epstein and Clinton together. 2. I don't think Clinton's name was in the contact book, if memory serves. Donnie's 14 times. I believe Clinton's name is on the flight logs, if I'm not mistaken, but Donnie's is on the flight logs 7 times. And Mr. Clinton isn't our president. Donnie is. Again, if people committed crimes and were involved in this, I don't care who gets arrested. I'm not you people. I'm not in a cult. But it's becoming, even before the Wall Street Journal stuff, it was quite obvious Donnie's neck deep in the Epstein stuff. A lot of you people knew it, and you didn't care. You voted for it anyway. It's getting to the point where enough's coming out, though, where you're looking like you have your name on a pedophile. That's what really bothers you, isn't it? Of course it is. But you already knew you did. Pedo's better than a liberal, right? Right, Jesus people? So Donnie was pissed even before the Wall Street Journal thing came out. And Donnie, remember when Miss Levitt was giving this speech yesterday? Donnie already knew about the letter that was about to drop. So he was panicking like a motherfucker. Anything that comes out is going to be fake. People need to stop talking about it. This has nothing to do with the Democrats. You people did this. And Donnie's people did this by promising to release the info. The Democrats got served, just like Donnie said the other day. Like, they hit pay dirt. Democrats got served, I don't know what you call it, a pop fly. Easy to catch. They didn't make this happen. I mean, Donnie is used to telling any lie and just delaying the follow-through on that lie forever. So when Donnie made the promises, he knows you rubes. When he made the promises before the election, yeah, I'm going to release the Epstein stuff, we're going to do that. He knew you rubes would forget about it once he got in, because all he needed was the keys. The plan was just get the keys. After that point, I don't need anybody. And now he's got them, and he doesn't need anybody. And now he's a cornered rat. A very vindictive one. Evil one. That's not going to go well for us. So I ain't laughing as loud as everybody else on this. Because I know Donnie's not going away. Again, so a Fox News reporter, which part of the Epstein thing is a hoax? Like, what's the hoax part? The president is referring to the fact that Democrats have now seized on this as if they ever wanted transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein. No, you people don't want transparency, the rubes. And Donnie. I know a lot of you don't want this stuff to come out because, again, that's going to make clear to all the rest of us that you have your name on a pedophile. Some of you honestly sought it. So the Democrats aren't doing nothing. Again, they're trying to put that idea in your head because you're not very smart, that the Democrats are leading you on this. Is Rupert Murdoch a Democrat? Is the Wall Street Journal a liberal publication? No, it's not. I wouldn't say the Democrats never wanted transparency on the issue. I just say they weren't campaigning on it. They weren't campaigning on, you know, we're going to get you all the Epstein files. They were campaigning on what they usually campaign on. We're going to try and, make the social program stronger. We're going to invest in America, build back better infrastructure. Same thing Obama did. That's a typical liberal agenda point. Let's put some money in infrastructure. Let's get some jobs going right away. So that's what the Democrats were really campaigning on. Biden didn't campaign on locking Donnie up. That was Merrick Garland's job. He did jack shit. Biden didn't campaign on, I'm going to get you the Epstein files. God knows what was left by the time, the first incarnation of the Reich in 2019 was done with them. Again, Donnie could have released him in 2019 after Jeffrey died, but, then Donnie would have went to prison for the rest of his fucking life, so can't have that stuff getting released. And again, when they released the first batch to the podcasters, Chaya Skank and Cernovich and all those idiots, and you saw that it was all already publicly released information that came out years ago, and some of that even was redacted. When you saw that, that's when you should have knew, okay, Donnie and the Reich really don't want us to see anything new on Epstein. And they have it, they just don't want us to see. That should have been your kind of nail in the coffin moment. And this moment now with the Wall Street Journal thing should really be your nail in the coffin of MAGA moment. Where you coffin that shit up, you put the nails in, you bury it, and you never look back. That's what you should be doing right now. Should have been doing that years ago, but whatever, we're here. And this is the health information yesterday. Donald Trump has been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency, per press secretary. This is a condition where veins have trouble sending blood from the legs back to the heart, often due to damaged valves. This can lead to blood pooling in the legs, causing various symptoms and complications. So now we know why Donnie's legs are all swollen on the bottom. And here's a picture of that. Again, someone did a comparison, and I was like, wow, what a difference. Donnie's lower leg, if you can see that, how thick it is. I got the brightness up on it. Yeah, I do. How thick it is. Very bulbous and kind of bulged out like he's got the gout. And then Biden's at the top there. Let's make it bigger. Normal, skinny guy's ankles. Maybe you can see better if I blow the Donnie part up. I've seen plenty of older white guys and some young ones in their 30s with this. I know some people get it from drinking too much, diabetic complications. It appears that it really is caused by, again, the valves aren't working right on the heart. And the blood just kind of pools in the legs when you're sitting down, I guess, or standing. It looks real bad. The ankle, the lower leg is overflowing the shoe. Again, Hitler, 1936, there's a clip of him at an event. This is only 3 years after he became co-chancellor. Fucking tweaking out, shaking. He had a condition, and he was on a bunch of drugs. So right at the beginning, his health was failing, and he was a madman sociopath with a God complex, just like Donnie. So again, we've got Donnie in failing health, failing mentally, who's worried to death that the full Epstein story about him will come out. Ghislaine has it all. So more could come out. This is his worst fucking nightmare. He's going insane over this, and it's obvious. So again, you've got a man in failing health mentally, physically. You've got someone with a God complex, a sociopath with the maturity of a 4-year-old, backed into a corner like a rat. Makes him very dangerous. He will lash out more. He will be more vindictive. He will be more on the attack. It will get worse. Again, that's why I'm not laughing as loud as everybody else. I know where this is going. Got a madman with a health condition and a God complex cornered. Here's Donnie today. I look forward to getting Rupert Murdoch to testify in my lawsuit against him and his pile of garbage newspaper, the Wall Street Journal. That will be an interesting experience if it ever happens. I can tell by this statement he's probably not going to sue. Because he can't. If they start digging in that shit in a court of law, he's fucked. I'd be real surprised if he sued. And if he does sue, once it gets to discovery, that's when it'll get dropped real quick. He might put the show on for a few weeks. Then when the discovery phase... never mind. Rupert apologized. Never mind. This is George Conway. Donald Trump distanced himself from claims he sent a spicy signed drawing of a naked woman to Jeffrey Epstein by insisting that he never drew pictures. However, several doodles and artworks created by the president surfaced online on Thursday to directly contradict his claims. They suggest Trump regularly produced sketches adorned with his trademark signature. I showed you a few of them. Even that's a lie. Donnie again today at 8:04 a.m. If there was a smoking gun, that's in quotes, on Epstein, why didn't the Dems who controlled the files, that's in quotes, for 4 years and had Garland and Comey in charge use it? Because they had nothing. That's in all caps, that last part. That's how a mob boss speaks. They had nothing. We've seen it in movies left and right. Not, I didn't do it. They have nothing. You would think the first statement would be, I didn't do it. I didn't partake of women with Jeffrey Epstein. That's a lie. I didn't write the letter. That's a lie. Real simple. Instead, we get footage of him and Epstein partying together with a bunch of girls standing in front of him at Mar-a-Lago. And we get letters that he wrote to Epstein as if they were in some type of fucking romantic relationship or something. And I won't even go into that. Again, the Dems controlling the files. Well, Donnie, you controlled the files first. Why didn't you release them? Again, Epstein got arrested in 2019. He was dead a month later. It went from July to early August. He was dead. Release it. Donnie was still president till January of 21. Why are we skipping over Donnie and going to Biden? I don't understand. Oh, that's just a talking point meant to distract idiots. I forgot. Okay, I'm going to read you the rest of the long comment. First, let's read this one. This is Donnie on his true social money laundering thing. The Wall Street Journal printed a fake letter supposedly to Epstein. These are not my words, not the way I talk. Also, I don't draw pictures. I told Rupert Murdoch it was a scam, that he shouldn't print the fake story, but he did. And now I'm going to sue his ass off. And that of his third-rate newspaper. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Well, where's the lawsuit? Where's the lawsuit? This is the longer one. The Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch personally were warned directly by President Trump that the supposed letter they printed by President Trump to Epstein was a fake. And again, this is Donnie who wrote this. If they print it, they will be sued. Murdoch stated that he would take care of it, but obviously did not have the power to do so. The editor of the Wall Street Journal, Emma Tucker, was told directly by Carolyn Levitt and by President Trump that the letter was a fake, But Emma Tucker didn't want to hear that. Instead, they are going with a false, malicious, and defamatory story. Anyway, President Trump will be suing the Wall Street Journal, News Corp, and Mr. Murdoch shortly. The press has to learn to be truthful and not rely on sources that probably don't even exist. Probably don't exist, okay? President Trump has already beaten George Stephanopoulos, ABC, 60 Minutes, CBS, and others, and looks forward to suing and holding accountable the once great Wall Street Journal. Well, hold on. Some of those papers, that was tribute. They weren't losing the case or anything. They just settled to throw millions at Donnie because they're worried Donnie's going to shut him down, have him executed, whatever. And I'm not kidding. You saw how fast Mika and Joe ran over there, right, when Donnie first got elected. These people are worried they're going to get arrested, killed, whatever. They know what Donnie is. They know what he's capable of. That's why they scared shitless. That's why all the tribute by ABC and other places. And others, and looks forward to suing and holding accountable the once great Wall Street Journal. It has truly turned out to be a disgusting and filthy rag, and writing defamatory lies like this shows their desperation to remain relevant. If there were any truth at all in the Epstein hoax as it pertains to President Trump, this information would have been revealed by Comey, Brennan, Crooked Hillary, and other radical left lunatics years ago. It certainly would not have sat in a file waiting for Trump to have won 3 elections. This is yet another example of fake news. Again, the timeline's a bit fucked up here. First of all, you had Bondi and Acosta protecting Epstein down in Florida before 2015, the whole time. The guy got a sentence of, sit in jail for a few minutes and then you can go home, and you come back later and you go home. And, you know what I mean? So the Democrats didn't have this stuff. Bondi and Acosta were keeping that shit hush-hush down in Florida. Then he gets arrested in New York. Then he gets killed or commits suicide. Donnie is president in August of 2019. Why didn't Acosta, if he was still there, he probably wasn't there. I think he got rid of Acosta because the Epstein shit got hot right at the beginning of Donnie's first presidency. Acosta became a distraction. Acosta got Jeffy the sweetheart deal down in Florida. Donnie gives him the job as Secretary of Labor. Then the Epstein stuff started heating up. Donnie made Acosta the sacrificial lamb. So, by the way Trump's reacting to this, I don't think it's fake news. If he sues, the second the discovery process starts, that lawsuit will get dropped. I'll be surprised if he sues at all, because if any more information about his ties to Epstein comes out, I think he's going to have a fucking coronary. I don't think he could handle it. Now, we read a comment by JD earlier. I want to go back to that for a second, because JD has some allegations that were made about him. And they didn't go away. And JD didn't sue. Here's JD's comment again. Forgive my language, but this story is complete and utter bullshit. The Wall Street Journal should be ashamed for publishing it. Where's the letter? Would you be shocked to learn they never showed it to us before publishing it? Does anyone honestly believe this sounds like Donald Trump? Yeah, it totally does to me, but that's beside the point. Remember that gentleman named Wortman, I believe is his last name. Forgive me if I'm getting it wrong. He's a reporter. He's done stories, books, etc. He made very bold allegations against JD a few months ago. Do you remember, class? And said he had witnesses. And he said the reason JD changed his name twice and moves around is because he gets in trouble with little children. The guy even named some hotels that JD went to. JD, after a week or two of that information being up, getting millions of views, by the way, by people, sent a cease and desist and said if he doesn't take the information down, then they will sue mercilessly, something like that. Just like Donnie's threatening right now. The guy did not take the information down. JD has not filed a lawsuit. It's been months. So, people, it appears you have not one, but two president and vice president that be messing around with little children's. And you're supposed to care about the little children's. That's what you preached for 20 years, right? Pizzagate, I love the little children's, those evil liberals, they're eating babies and shit. Right? JD is not sued, it's been months. The guy made literal allegations of JD sleeping with underage people. JD threatened to sue. It's been months. No fucking lawsuit. So you have one, not one, but two. Got both positions, president and vice president. And again, you people for 20, 30 years been preaching how much you love the little children. You want to save them. Guy went to, the pizza place with a machine gun. Going to save the little children's. Because what Vlad told him, right? And what Assange told him, and what Alex Jones told him, what Cernovich told him. There was no basement when he got there with his machine gun. Because that's how we solve things in America, right? Rambo style, right? Idiots. Guy ran down there, ruined his life for lies given to him by Vlad, Julian Assange, Alex Jones, etc. Goes to the pizza place in D.C. with a machine gun. Realizes there's no basement. I'm a fucking moron. Cops come. He surrenders. You know the rest of the story. Ashley Babbitt, for a con man, wannabe dictator, trying to break a window and get to congressman till she got shot. She's dead now. Over nothing. Over the aspirations of a con man to be dictator of the world. JD is not sued in months. Someone made flat out allegations that millions of people have seen that he sleeps with children in various hotel rooms. That's why he changed his name, and that's why he's been run out of several towns. Donnie says he's going to sue. Why isn't the lawsuit filed yet? Miss Bondi? Donnie? And if he does, watch how fast he drops it when discovery phase hits. I'll be surprised if he sues at all. What does that tell you, class? And Rubes? You got your name on some pedophiles after preaching anti-pedophile gospel against liberals for 20 years. I'd take your name off that shit, son. Forget about what you read on social media for 20 years, what you saw on Fox News and Newsmax. Just forget it all. Because it's all worthless. You wasted your life, your time, your psyche, everything on it. Some of you, it cost you your life, your job, this, that, who knows. Your freedom. All that time you thought you were on the good guy's side. You thought you were on the right team. You thought you were on the Jesus team that loves to protect the little children's. Nope, you were enabling pedophiles. That's what you were doing. You were preaching the gospel of Vlad Putin. Designed to ruin you, your future, your kids' future, your country, etc. It worked. And now we got the double pedo team in office. I already know the shit about JD is true. He hasn't sued in months. Let's see what Donnie does here. I already know what he's going to do again. He'll either not sue at all, or he'll sue and discovery comes in a month, month and a half, drops the case. So that's our answer, class. when we're asking the question who the pedos are. And are the top two, are they sleeping with underage people? Yeah. Yep. And your name's on it. I'd get your name the fuck off that, son. And again, forget politics, right, left, everything you learned for 20 years on Facebook, all fucking worthless. It comes down to this simple thing, and political party has nothing to do with it, son, or political ideology or beliefs. Your name is on two pedophiles. Gets it the fuck off. That's it. There's no but, if, what, when. You're a liberal. You're a right winger. Alex Jones. Talking points by Vlad. No, none of it exists. All that exists is this in God's eyes. You ready? You have your name on a pedo team. That's it. Get it off. Or die in the next life. Now, I'd want to go to something else for a moment, because this kind of struck me the other day. And then I'm going to end this thing. 1.4 million of the nation's poorest renters risk losing their homes with Trump's proposed HUD time limit. If you don't know what HUD is, Housing Urban Development, there's a lot of people in this country that don't make a lot of money. They can't afford an apartment. They have children, whatever. So they apply to the government to pay some of their rent. Rent-controlled properties, etc. There's whole buildings that do this. So you'll see a lot of single mothers, you'll see a lot of poor people get either all of their rent paid by the government or a partial amount. It's the only way they can survive in this monstrosity where a one bedroom's $1,800 if you're 100 miles within a job. And that's the low end. So a lot of people would die and starve without this program. Donnie wants to put a 2-year time limit on you being allowed to have part of your rent covered or all of your rent covered. What does that mean? Well, that would mean a lot of people will get 2 years of being okay and then they'd starve to death because they can't afford an apartment. It's that fucking simple. That's why they're on the program in the first fucking place. Of course, the Reich knows this, but they're eugenicists. Culling is the point. Lowering that population number is the point. Getting a slave workforce in debt to the government is the point. That's what I realized when I saw this. They want leverage over the poorest people in this country. How are they doing that? They're going to take away your Medicaid, take away your food stamps, a portion of you. They'll start with the constituency no one cares about, people without children, because fuck them, right? Then they'll move on to you. Because that's Donnie's money, that federal money. That's why all this is happening. Plus, they have a belief system. And the belief system is, they want you to fucking die. I'm not joking. And again, I know you said Obama and Hillary and all these other people with their eugenicists. No, it's these cunts you have your name on right now. They doing it in real time. You got Oz out there saying, just be healthy. The government shouldn't have to pay for you. He's a eugenicist. He knows they plan on taking healthcare coverage away from people. He lies on news channels saying, don't worry, we got you covered, but no, they don't got you covered. Once the midterms are over, that's when all the shit kicks in where you lose your welfare and your Medicaid. Because they need your vote one more time, Rubes. And they know you're stupid and you'll vote right against your own interests. You do it every time. So, At some point within this Reich, in a year or two, you will lose your Medicaid, you will lose your food stamps, a percentage of America, unless you work. And I'm sure they'll have some great work for you to do. You'll lose your apartment in 2 years if you're in low-income housing and be pushed out on the street because that's Donnie's money. And they have an agenda. Culling, eugenics, etc. All the shit you said the liberals were going to do. Nope, it was you and these fuckers. You've got RFK saying we want everyone wearing a wearable within 4 years. You've got RFK trying to eliminate vaccines, all kinds of different health things. Why? So you die, son. That's why. I'm not joking. And again, I know you've seen a million podcasters say the same bullshit about Hillary, Obama, these people, those people. No, they weren't the people. It's these people. This Reich. It's now. How do I know? Because they're ending all these programs and they're trying to starve poor people to death intentionally. That's how I know. And, this idea has been part of the GOP platform for a long time. We need to give all the money to the rich. Fuck these social programs. That's how we'll pay for it. They preach that gospel every time they get in power, even when they're not in power. That's part of the GOP platform. No handouts unless it's to millionaires and billionaires. And the rubes go, yeah, that's right. Fucking idiots. The reason they don't like social programs is they want to give tax cuts to rich people. All the money to the rich. That doesn't leave any to fund social programs, son. I'm sorry. But this time, it's different. They really implementing the cuts that will get them voted out once they happen. Why? Because they don't plan on leaving, son. That's why. That's why they're doing it now instead of just talking about it. So they have a plan for all you people in federal housing. You only get 2 years. It hasn't been enacted yet, but hey, Donnie gets everything he wants, so. We've got people that are about to lose Medicaid in a year, year and a half. About to lose their food stamps in a year, year and a half. Add that to this. Add that to RFK and Oz trying to get rid of, vaccinations. Add that to the government getting rid of early warning systems for weather events, for plagues, for poison in your food. What does all that add up to, class? Say it with me. You ready? Eugenics! Culling of the population intentionally or herding the poor into a certain direction. The nutlick direction. Where if you want your Medicaid, you got to go work in the factory. If you want your food stamps, you got to go work in the factory. If you want your affordable housing, you got to go work in the factory. Or maybe they take you the Haggard Brooke Rollins route. If you want your Medicaid, you got to go pick cotton, son. If you want your food stamps, you got to go pick cotton. If you want your low-income housing, you got to go pick cotton. They have a plan for the poor, and it ain't good, son. I can tell by the moves they're making. And they're making them intentionally, and Donnie sees every federal dollar as his, and he doesn't care if you fucking die on the sidewalk so he can have more money. And steal more of the federal budget. Again, the level of evil I don't think we're all grasping here. When I added all up, the different plans for the poor by RFK, I remember RFK's the guy, if you're on drugs, maybe we should ship you to a camp and you can work. We got a camp down in Florida. We got a camp in El Salvador. We got more camps popping up soon, I'm sure. The next scumbag, right-wing governor, mayor, whatever, that wants to be in a spotlight for 5 seconds and be the hand of Satan for a few minutes. Yeah, this ain't going to a good place. They have a plan for poor people that are on these programs, and it's fucking obvious. One is the plan is starve. We just don't fucking care. That's Donnie's money. The other plan is, oh, if you want the program, go do the iPhone screws for 60 cents an hour. Vietnam style. Go out and pick cotton, according to Miss Rollins. They're deporting all the people that do the work, son. Who does that leave? Well, that leaves you. And maybe one day when Donnie gets rid of the borders in North America, maybe that's when they'll bring the Guatemalan work up so we can all starve. I don't know, but for now, the plan is get rid of all the people that do the work because we don't like them. We're racists. We're ethnic cleansers. We're white nationalists. We're Nazis. Who's that leave? That leaves the rubes at the bottom. And it sounds like what the plan is. They're planning on taking these programs away from you unless you go agree to work and pick cotton or do the little iPhone screws or whatever. I wonder if there'll even be any pay involved. Maybe it's just in exchange for the program. Maybe that's the utopia they have in mind for you. And although I don't know how it will play out specifically, even though they've pretty much given the game away and telegraphed it, I know this. They have a plan for you, the poor in this country. They are targeting the poor specifically for a reason. Not just to give tax cuts to rich people. That's part of it, yes. It's much bigger than that. And this program, only giving people 2 years, the single mother with 3 children, 2 children, yeah, that ain't going to work. You're going to have kids dying. You're going to have adults dying from this. So I guess what it comes down to is they have a plan for the poor, and it's a horrible one. It's not good. It's nefarious. It's evil. And it appears, again, even though most of us already knew this, that Donnie Shitbags is forehead deep in the Epstein shit. So I suggest, just like Adam Kinzinger, take your cue from God that's showing you one more data point, even though you already know you got your name on evil. No one's going to be able to say, I didn't know, when the man comes around. That's why he's showing it all to you over the course of these 10 years. Just like Adam Kinzinger said, you got one more data point that's pretty fucking damning. I suggest you get your name off it for your own sake. Anyway, have a wonderful day. I'll try and get on tonight. If not, tomorrow. Again, I got a lot of transition, fucked up shit going on, so I'm trying to do the best I can here. Have a wonderful day. And again, if you can help out, I'll put the PayPal at the top of the comment section. I do a lot of work to put this up, to get all this information for you, and point you in the right direction. So if you'd like to help, and it would give me more time to broadcast. Honestly, I'd love to do this all day, just do updates all day long for a living. But I don't want to work for NBC or Fox or any of those people. Not that they'd hire me anyway. It's not what I'm interested in. So anyway, if you can help out, I'd really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Maybe I'll be on tonight too.